And good morning, everybody. It is Fabulous Friday featuring Connie Holmes. Now, Connie, I love you to bits. And I met you at the conferences. Of course I did. Of course I met you at the conferences. And we get on, we're very similar and we have a lot in common. And yeah, I don't know if anybody watches any of this that I do. I refer to Connie's book a lot. This is Connie who created Courage, the acronym Courage. And I've read that, I think, a few times on here before. And you're always coming out with those wonderful nuggets. Connie, first of all, we have a happy birthday to say to somebody, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, you ready?
Yes. Happy birthday, Randi.
I don't know if we're brave enough to actually sing it.
Oh, we want the listeners to stay on, so no.
Yeah, okay. We won't actually do that, Randi, but we wanted you to know that we love you. There we
Hi,
go.
Randi Light. We love you to pieces. Happy birthday.
Yeah, there you go. So, Connie, take it away. Tell us about you. Tell us what you do and for the whole hypnosis community, because you're a trainer as well, and you do great work.
Thank you so much. Well, and thank you so much for the introduction. I just adore you to pieces as well. And I'm so glad because of these conferences that I was able to see you. And I completely forgot to shut my door. So my cat is walking in the screen right now. So sorry about that.
You're like kitty cats.
It's like the cats, they're like Zoom whores. I know we're not on Zoom, but it's like they just have a radar. Like, oh, mom's on the computer on being recorded. So let's go in there. So hello, I'm Connie. I'm a cat owner. So anyways, I am a certified hypnotherapist, a life coach, a health coach. I do NLP work as well. And as Claudia said, I am an instructor as well. I do host workshops and retreats, and I'm an author of 4 different books as well. So that's a little bit about me. I always usually start off explaining my company name because as you can see it behind my name here, BU to be full, it's spelled a little goofy, but that was very intentional because my mission is in my company name. I teach individuals how to truly, authentically be themselves. So that's the BU, because when you're authentic, it's just natural and easier to live a very fulfilled life. And I spelled it goofy because I wanted people that if they saw it or read it quickly, that it could look and sound like the word beautiful, because that's the second part of my message, is that even if you're working to enhance any aspect of your life, you're still beautiful as you are. All you're doing is enhancing yesterday's version of you.
Oh, I love that. I love it. I know, and I've heard it so many times and I still love it. And you do come out with some really good one-liners though, and you have another one, and again I've shared this with various people because it's just so cool, and I shared it with a keynote speaker the other day as well, actually, because she was saying, how can you raise your game just by 1%? And I went, oh, I've got a good one for you. So I showed her the sticker, and I'm going to let you say it because it is yours. So
well, thank you. And I actually have to say, I have a second sticker now, so I'll get to that one in a second. But what the first sticker was, I was honored to be a keynote presenter at the International Certification Board of Coaches and Hypnotists, ICBCH, almost a couple of years ago now. And you know how when you do a keynote, you want to have a theme that goes through it. And so my theme was on this theory that I think most people may have heard before. But at 211 degrees, we have very hot water. But at 212 degrees, that water boils. And boiling water creates steam. And we know that back in the 1800s, they found out that steam can actually move a locomotive. So 1 degree difference made all of that come true. So what can you do if you do 1 degree more?
I know, it is so fabulous. And I saw you at that keynote. So yeah.
Oh, yes.
You were fabulous. And you've just done another keynote as well in the Michigan conference.
I did. We just came off of that. The Michigan Hypnosis Conference, that is in its 3rd year. So it's one of the I think the Pacific one might be a little bit newer, but Michigan, it was their third year, and it was in September. It was in Detroit, Michigan. And that one, my talk was all around legacy, how to truly build a legacy, to not only leave a legacy, but to live a legacy. And a lot of that is about working around your values. And I created an acronym because you know how I like acronyms.
I did, and I shared it on the group. I put it up.
Oh, the legacy. Oh, that's right. You did. You did. Thank you.
But no, show it again if that's another bit. If that's another one, just share it.
I have it in my water bottle already. So it's just called Live Your Legacy every day, with L for loving kindness, E for empowering yourself and others, G for demonstrating greatness, A for living authentically, C, caring for yourself and others, and Y, saying yes to life.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, you do. You uplift me all the time. You really do. You're wonderful.
Well, you do me too. You inspire me. Your dedication and consistency to your everyday lives. I mean, it's amazing. And I love it that they're short little nuggets, and they're just wonderful. So it shows us a lot about you, but you're also very generous in highlighting other people and different things throughout the way too. So that's nice.
Yeah, well, it's important to, and again, because otherwise it would be all about me, and I haven't created those things. You did, so that would be, that would just be ridiculous, wouldn't it? I don't think I'd have any friends if everybody's thinking, "Hang on, that was mine." So no, and the thing is, we're not in competition, because people choose people, and you're where you are and I'm where I am. And I know we both work on Zoom, and a lot of all the practitioners on here work on Zoom. Yet people still will find their people, and not everybody will like me, and that's okay. I'm all right with that. Plus I have this weird accent, this English accent. So
that's an attraction for most. I know, I love your accent.
So I know, but I do speak quite quickly, so sometimes that can be a bit confusing for people, and again, I mean, there's all the little quirks that go with that, because I might say Lou, or I might say just some other kind of really weird English thing, and they're looking at me and I go, "Don't you use that here?" And they go, "No."
You actually, I watched your one with Joe the other day, and you used some word, and it was a complete English word. I don't remember what it was now, but you kind of caught yourself.
I know, I have to catch myself all the time. So anyway, hey ho. And then we start to laugh, though. And you like me, we know that when we're laughing, it breaks the tension, builds rapport. We can't feel the anxious feelings. And so it's all good. So,
right.
So I don't mind having my little English quirks here. And plus I have my English audience anyway. So they watch, and they're like going, "What's the big deal?"
They're probably telling you all the words that you're not using right anymore because you're.
I know. Yeah, exactly. Or go, "Why didn't you use it that way?" Or my spelling, because I do try and spell the American way, and they're like probably going, "Oh, for goodness sake!"
Right, exactly.
Anyway, hey, you can't please everybody.
Yes.
So it is. Oh, there's that saying. It is what it is. So what's next? I mean, we've got the Mid-America Conference.
Well, it's funny that you just said it is what it is, because I am going out on a limb. But you know what? That's a quote I live by. I truly do. The story's going to be a little bit, some offshoots here. You just said what's next, but before you said that, you said it is what it is. And I am going to do a comedy show with two girlfriends. Not hypnosis related. I mean, I'm sure I'll bring parts of that in, but yeah, we're going to do a comedy show, and it's going to be in February. So we've been talking about it and kind of, what are we doing and all that, but we're going to call it Is What It Is. But I decided to say yes, because, that is the last thing on my legacy, saying yes to life. But also, I truly do try to live by this quote. It's by Frank Scully. I honestly don't know who he is. I think he's an author. But the quote is, "Why not go out on a limb? Isn't that where the fruit is?" Isn't that fabulous? I love that quote.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I truly do live by that. And so when this opportunity came up, so that's my long way of saying that's it's not all that's what's next for me, but it's kind of the thing on the horizon right now. So
Yeah, yeah. And I agree. Sometimes we have to sort of like get out of our comfort zone. And yes, that branch, as you say, it might be a little bit wobbly,
right.
a bit bouncy, and you know, occasionally it may even break off.
Right.
And then, you know, that's why we have, you know, 2 feet on
Yes.
land.
Exactly.
So, and we have friends who can actually catch us.
Right, which is beautiful. And you know what? That is probably the best thing about this community, because as you know, I do certify others in hypnosis. And that's one of the very first things that I say is you are now going to enter in to the most beautiful, welcoming, loving, safe, generous community you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
And then once they come to the conferences and get to meet people, they're like, oh my God, I really thought you were exaggerating.
No,
But
I know. It's not, is it? It's like this, your heart fills with literally gold. I mean, you literally, the energy, and I've said this so many times already, but the energy in the hotels must be palpable, you know? They could probably harness it and do get some grids lit up with that. Because this is so loving, the connection is so good, and I really feel as though I've like belong, and I've found my people, you know, who get me.
This is how we met each other. And it was at a conference and going for walks on our lunch hour or whatever it might be. And then, you know, after evening, you know, little drumming circles or different things that we do. And it's so much fun. And so to me, I mean, obviously the conferences are about learning, but for me, it's more, I mean, it's just as much, but if not a little bit more about the connections with people. You know, because we talk offline, if you will, you know, whether it's through Messenger or just, you know, texting here and there or phone calls or different things. And we wouldn't have that if we didn't go to these conferences and get to know each other.
No, that's right. And you've been there for me, you know, really, you know, you've held space for me while I've done havening on myself to get through something. And yet you've held the space because it's so much easier to do it with somebody. And, you know, because I trust you. And I think that's what happens is that you find the people that you trust and who are like you and can, as I say, just hold that space and it's okay to be vulnerable with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's huge, isn't it?
It is.
Who do I feel safe enough to be vulnerable with? And so thank you.
Oh, you are welcome. That was my pleasure. You had a very vulnerable post, and I think we had just maybe come off the heels of a conference too. And I love and adore you anyway, but I think it was that we still had that energy going from that conference. And then you put out a post and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to reach out to you. And I'm happy that all happened.
Yeah. So am I. Yeah. Yes. So no, you're a good person.
As are you. Thank you.
So again, what's your next thing? And I think you've said you've got something coming up in October.
I do. So I do come to this work with 30 years of corporate experience, and it's a little bit varied. But I typically stayed, even though it was about 30 years, I can count on one hand the companies I was with because I tended to stay there for a while. And no matter my title, at the end of the day, the work I did always evolved around project management and strategic planning. And so I am very, very well versed in that. So I immediately started using that in my company, even when I was doing this as my side hustle. But I know that was one way I was able to successfully have this career be my full-time job. And I actually have a course coming up. It's all about creating a strategic plan for your business. And it's going to be a done with you workshop. So you know, as long as you show up for the 6 weeks and you roll your sleeves up and do the work, by the end of the time, you're going to have your completed strategic plan. This is going to be your roadmap for your business. Mm-hmm. And in there, we're going to have an attention management calendar so that you're radar focused. We're going to do a launch kind of a launch strategy, a launch alignment. So to line up any products, promotions, things like that you have, so that you can launch them at the right pattern and pace. And then also your business values too. So it's going to be chock full of a lot of things. So that's something that I have coming up at the last quarter of this year.
Yeah, good for you. Good for
Thank you.
And yeah, so I hope that's successful, because that is really important. And and there's many of us that aren't quite as focused on that. It's all very well, we might be very good at what we do at helping people. Oh, and then there's all this other side of it.
Exactly. It is. It's so important, because I know that's made all the difference in my business. And trust me, when I talk about it, it's kind of like, oh, snooze, a little boring. But like you said, but it's essential though. And once you create the stuff, it's yours. Then you can just utilize it. And then you can do all the fun stuff, like take your training on the bunny talk process.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's I know, I'm very excited for that. So
yes.
it's pretty awesome. I've had a lot of really great feedback from some quite big people in our industry. So it's I am excited for it.
Well, it's genius. Well, I was going to say, it's genius. You used it personally. You saw firsthand how effective it was. And there's beauty in the simplicity of it. But we also know in the simplicity, that's where some deep healing can happen. And when I say simplicity, it's more, just like the theory of the bunny talk and where it was originated. I just think it's wonderful. And I'm so proud of you whenever I see anything new. And I know that, with Mike Mandel's podcast that they really promoted it. And
I know. And he wrote me some really nice copy underneath when he put it on the YouTube. It was just like, oh wow, in his email. So it's just like he actually dissected it way more than I have.
Great.
I know. It's like it was like, thank you, very much.
The outside perspective, right? That probably helped.
Well, yeah, and with all of his wealth of experience, I mean, he's been doing this like for 60 years. So it was just really, really, really. I was very grateful to read that, and the fact that he shared it to the whole email group.
I was so happy for you when I saw that. So good.
And Bob Burns is all over it. And in fact, I trained it to Bob, Cheryl, Elman, Beryl Comer, and Larry. He was on there. I did the online train. They were on it. So, and in fact, I've trained Cheryl Elman in person.
I saw her in one of your pictures on your Facebook. Well, and then also I just got Larry Garrett's email, because in conjunction with Mid-America, you are going to be staying a day later and doing the training there.
I am. Yeah, that's right. So Larry Garrett. Yeah. So, oh, good. You got that email. Okay, good. So so with Larry, and because he was in the workshop when I was showcasing it, and we all just were like going, because Huda, Huda.
Yeah.
You know her very well because you trained her. She actually had and she says it openly because I've got her on video, which is, again, I've shared, that she actually had a regression to her childhood. So we all just went, oh my gosh, this isn't just for children.
Yeah.
Because it is for adults as well. And I used it on an adult yesterday, and oh my gosh, the change she had was profound when she was getting it all out on her body, and she was writing all over it, because adults can obviously write more, and it's just like it was just like, she goes, oh, it's all gone now.
Oh.
And then we did the cuddly toys, and she was doing that. It was just great. So it's very exciting. So thank you, Connie, for mentioning that.
Do you know what I love about it? Just hearing you talk, that phrase, everything in this world is either a blessing or a lesson. And I know the root of why you have the bunny talk process. And, and even though that's wounding and that type of thing, because I tell people all the time, even if something is a lesson, if you hang on to it long enough, it comes around and it's a blessing. And I feel like that's your synergy right now, which is beautiful.
And it's like, and I've got my daughter's permission to share as well, because she knows that she wants to help people as well through it. So so it's very heartfelt,
Oh yeah,
it's comes from a real, as you say, there's a lot of purpose and a big why there. So it's big. But yeah, I just honestly, Connie, I can't wait to see you at the conference. And again, we'll be on here again. You've got some more books though. Just quickly show your books up.
Yes. So Claudia is always so generous, and I have my first book behind my shoulder here. And I always joke too, it's titled after my company name, Be You to Be Full. But I spelled it right because it's a book. So I thought I should do that, right? But my other books, it's actually a collection. It's a series of books. And it's so it's called Openness. I don't think I can talk in front of the microphone. Openness, a collection of perspectives to connect you to yourself. So, okay, speaking of Randi Light, I got to share this. So after I published my book through Richard Nongard's class, 12weekbook.com. So if you want to publish a book, go there. But anyways, when I published that, I told myself I was going to write a series of books like the Be You series. So I was sitting down, writing, nothing was flowing. I was kicking myself in the pants every day because because then I stopped writing because nothing was flowing. And so I was kind of beating myself up. I know, shouldn't do that, but I was beating myself up because I wasn't writing every day. But do you want to know what I was doing? Every morning I would, I have a really good ability to see a picture, and that picture talks to me. It really talks to me. And so I was looking at these pictures, and I would kind of write a story around it. So those are those longer posts that I put out in the morning on Facebook. So I was doing that every morning. Honest to goodness, I was probably 6 months in, and Randi Light sent me or maybe she even commented on one of my posts, and she said, Connie, these are chocked full of wisdom. You should publish a book. And as soon as she wrote that, I was like, oh my God, duh. So here I am beating myself up because I'm not writing, but yet I was writing every day. So that's what these books are. And that's why it's called a collection of perspectives to connect you to yourself. They're just very short. It has a picture on one side, and then it has
That's what people want. Short and sweet.
Exactly.
And they are. I read those. You just come up with quick, really good little nuggets.
Right.
Just like I might do in my videos, but you're doing it in that, which people can keep. Brilliant.
Yeah.
So go to sleep at night or whatever, and then they dream about it. Look, you've got a swan there.
Yeah, I know. I just randomly opened the page too.
Oh.
Yeah, this one's called Unconditional. So, but yeah, so they're very short reads, and yeah, you probably could use these books as like a daily devotional or something like that. And, but yeah, I just think the longer story behind it though is so stinking funny because beating myself up for not writing, but yet I was writing every day. But then talk about the love of our colleagues. Here Randi was reading them, every day or whenever she saw them. And she was kind enough to reach out and say that they're chocked full of wisdom and I should write a book.
Brilliant. What's not to love about that?
I know.
And then you ended up laughing at yourself because you've been beating yourself up, and yet you were doing it all the time. It's a great story.
I know. I love it.
And I hope you put that in it as well.
Yeah, you're right. I think I don't remember if I did or not. I do know Randi is credited in here. She's in my acknowledgements. So, yeah.
And is that 3 books of all of those?
Yeah. Yep. It's a series of 3.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. That's how much content I was writing. And then, yeah, kind of crazy. So, but it's all good. So these are on Amazon as well.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. I love it. Yeah, you do great work. Well, we've gone right over here. So everybody, I know, never mind. We'll probably carry on talking afterwards as well. But thank you everybody for watching. And it's goodbye from me, Claudia Rickard, and it's goodbye from
Connie Jo Holmes with Be You to Be Full. Thanks for being here.
Take care, everybody. Bye.